for years. We get it. They get it. What's not to get? Somebody doesn't like another YouTuber. Is that unusual? Not on here. It's not unusual. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to be attacked by somebody on YouTube. It's what it is. It is what it is, as everybody likes to say. Famous line, it is what it is. Right, John Blaze? It is what it is. Right, John? Right? You always say that. You're big on saying that. It is what it is. Well, you're right, John Blaze. It is what it is. Here's the thing. Who the fuck cares about somebody's marriage and where they're taking their wife to America and what the fuck they do in their relationship? What does it matter? What does it matter what people think about you or her, him, that guy, this guy? What does it matter? Does it really apply to you? I mean, really? Are you not living your own life and you know whether your life is good, whether your life is bad? Only you know that. You can't have somebody tell you unless it's that obvious that you know, it just goes without saying by the content they put on their show and, you know, even their physical characteristics and their attitude and, you know, better than shit, better than thou attitude. So why give them the PR? You're not going to stop a troll from being a troll. I believe in freedom of speech to a point. To a point. Even I hold back sometimes, but sometimes I don't hold back. Now, I said what I needed to say about Poop Eye. I said what I needed to say about Nico and so forth and so on. What more can I say that I haven't demonstrated or experienced before? Yeah. Gilda takes that with a grain of salt. She's been around this shit. She knows what goes on YouTube. That's what people do. She understands that. Popeye can't threaten anybody. He could barely walk. That's my point. That's my whole point. Keyboard warriors that want to spew out all the hate. And it gets to a point that even their audience after a while says, okay, this has been fun. This has been entertainment. We got a chuckle out of that. Oh, that's cool that he's attacking somebody. You know, we love that kind of stuff. But, you know, after a while, you know, this redundancy and, you know, this practice, it gets really old. Even to me. I'm pretty much a free thinker. I'm pretty much very vocal. I pretty much say what's on my mind. But then after a while, even it, you know, gets to me where I say to myself, okay, man, you made it clear how you feel about certain people on here. And for good reason, okay. But what more can you really do? What are you going to do? Hire a hitman, get him killed? What are you going to do? You know, what they put on there is an indication of how they're living their life. And apparently they're, you know, remember I always say, Mr. Redundant here, living well is the best revenge. That's what I can say on that. And so far that's worked for me. Okay, so. Hello, Susan Rice. Hey, oh, Perineum. I don't need truce with anybody. I made my own opinions and my mind up about certain people on here. They're never going to be on my soft side, you know. I mean, they're not going to be on my good side. Now, keep in mind, when I talk about somebody on here, it may be in response to something they said. That's pretty typical, right? Back and forth. But the difference is, I base what comes out of my mouth on what I've heard or seen on facts rather than, you know, hearsay or just somebody don't like you and they just want to say bad things about you. What I talk about, if I talk about trolls on here, is because what they actually did say, what they actually did do. I didn't have to make up a story, the proverbial digging of the barrel that I talk about just constantly. We know about the proverbial digging of the barrel and try to find fault and insults for somebody. That just continues. That's just part of what their game is. They want to pull your chain. They want a reaction from you, but they're waiting for the right reaction. So they can record it and make a mockery out of it. But where does it lead? This just goes on and on and on and on and on, seemingly with no end at all. Right? It's all tat and it never, yeah, pretty much so, yeah. Oh, Star Wars is here. Star View. Popeye probably never gets to the Philippines, but would Gilda worry about Nico doing anything to her if he could? That's the least of her worries. It's the least of her worries. Nobody would ever try causing harm to me and Gilda because that'll be the end of their life or their freedom, one or the other. One or the other. Whatever's actually, needed more. It's all talk on here. It's all talk radio is what it is. All talk radio. They want to get your goat. They want to push your buttons. They want to pull your chain. That's what it's all about. They want to see if you break, give in, and have something else to talk about as a result. Okay, I have been spending a lot of less time on YouTube than it feels. Yeah, as you see, I was doing my uploads and I wasn't doing my live streams. It was just a wild hair that made me come on and do a live stream. But basically for pretty much a message, really. And the message is that I feel I've come to a point where certain things I've accomplished that I was looking to accomplish, and how many exchanges can I have with people on here, and just continue the redundancy of the back and forth. And I think I pretty much made myself perfectly clear how I feel about certain people on here. And I'm sure they got the message a long time ago. All right. But the back and forth shit, it is childish, even for me to do. I always include myself in here because that's the kind of person I am. If I'm doing something that you could definitely say that, come on, man, you gotta do the same thing that they do, back and forth, reacting to their comments or shows. And then I'm doing the same thing they're doing. And where does it lead to? Nowhere. Passes your time, but there's a lot of better things you can do with your time rather than the continuation of the back and forth insults and so forth. I mean, where does it lead? Nowhere. It doesn't lead anywhere. It makes a good show, but that's about it. Yeah, I like talk radio. That's what I do, basically, most of the time. I like the format because you're not distracted. You're not distracted by imagery. And if you ever got into photography, you understand that. When you take a picture of something, you've got to decide what is the key element in the picture you're trying to, project to people who look at your photographs. What you want to do is remove distractions from the background that are not important. So you may want to focus on the person itself and blur out the background. You could do that many ways. You could do that with a longer lens, it doesn't have much depth of field. Or you could do that basically with your aperture and, use a wider aperture, which is not going to show a lot of depth of field, which is going to put your person, the character, in focus, and everything else is not going to be as clear. So the focus is on the person. You could also use black and white, which is kind of like doing talk radio on here, because black and white images are more beneficial to viewers who love photography, love looking at photographs, because like Rod Stewart saying, every picture tells a story. Well, if you look at a black and white photograph, you're not, focusing on the colors. Colors could be a distraction. Same as trolls could be a distraction from doing a good show. You get distracted by comments and so forth, and you give into it. And it takes away from the main focus. Oh, see how I combine photography with YouTube here? It takes away from the focus of what you're trying to talk about. So, if your image is on camera, they're not concentrating as much on what you say, because the focus is not just on the audio, but it's also on the actual visuals on here. Unless you're doing a documentary, you got to have it on camera. You're doing pictorials, whatever, you got to have it on camera. That's what it's all about. This is not mostly what I do. Okay, premium. Yeah, he does. Popeye has an abundance of hate in him. But I guess the purpose of putting on this show this morning as a live stream, I didn't feel like uploading something. I got some shit to do here. Still got to work out, but I've been procrastinating a little bit. Just a little bit. In fact, I got to move that monstrosity back into the exercise room. I had, with the real bad weather we were experiencing, it's starting to change a little bit now, but I had moved my treadmill into my, which is, right through the door, because it's attached, the exercise room, my bedroom. And I had moved it into my bedroom because, that's where the air conditioner is. So I go through this routine of putting the air conditioner on so it's nice and cool in my room. Because in the exercise room, it's got these big-ass almost ceiling to floor windows. It takes the brunt of the sun and heat. There's no blackout curtains in there. We just bought some for the living room. But I don't have them in there. It gets awfully hot in there. But I could get by with just having the fan blow on me, so I'm going to be getting, because I almost tripped on this damn thing, and this morning I almost tripped. 2 times I've almost tripped on this. It's at the foot of my bed, and sometimes I go walk that way, oh, shit, I almost tripped on this son of a bitch. I said, no, I had one fall a couple of weeks ago, which kind of fucked up my muscles around my ribs. It's still not totally perfect. I said, I'm not going through that again. I'm just not going to do that. So we're going to move this bad boy where it should be in the exercise room. That's it. There's Mr. Octone. You provide valuable information to this community, Frank. They are all jealous. Guild is very good. Got rid of the kids for a week or so. The 2 that stay here. It's Gilda's grandson's birthday, so the kids went back to Cebu along with the other girls that came to visit. 2 of her older daughters were here, so they went back to Cebu to be there for the kid's birthday. That would be Gilda's grandchild. So we got the house to ourselves. That kind of feels good. Doesn't mean the chores stop around here, though, that's for sure. But it's a lot easier to handle things when the kids are not here and they're creating tons and tons of laundry. And we're back to the pump problems again. Yeah. I guess we're going to have to change the bladder in there because it's just having problems upon problems. And everybody we have coming by to check this out don't know their ass from their elbow most of the time. We got it running, but you see water gets into the pressure tank, which it shouldn't. It should only go into the bladder. And if you know anything about science or physics or whatever, I mean, if you got a pressurized environment, and let's say you have a bladder in there that's full of water, as the pressure increases, it's going to put pressure on that bladder. It's like your body, and it's going to expel the water out in force. That's why it's called a pressure tank. Well, this wasn't working right, and it kept on recycling. Even we weren't using the water, all of a sudden that pressure pump would turn on. And it had to do with how much pressure was in there. It had to do with the fact that there was tons of water in the tank. And it was rusting the inside of the tank, too. That's not good. So the reason that the bladder got some possible microscopic pinholes in it is because there's water rusting the inside of the tank. So when the bladder expands, it hits that rough side of the interior of the tank and can cause damage to the rubber bladder. And I believe that's what's going on with that. Okay, then there's the toilet, the internal part of the toilet. We can't find the exact parts for it. So right now we have to use the toilet like the Filipinos do. Fill a pail and flush it with a pail. It's not a big thing until we can find the part. But I think at one point I'm going to have to replace the pressure tank. Not the motor on it, though. Not the motor. The motor's fine. It's mounted on the pressure tank. Not the motor. The motor's fine. It's the tank. And even if I do put a new bladder in there, I'd have to probably go all the way to Go to get it because I'm not going to get it in town. It'll eventually, probably something I have to go through all the time. You know, you have to clean the inside of the tank out with a wire brush, get all the rust off, because you can see it on the bladder. You can see the brown rust on the bladder because it's hitting the sides. Well, when it expands, it might get pretty close to the sides of the tank, and the water has rusted it and so forth. Okay, end of subject on that. But shit does go wrong around here all the time, and that's just part of the responsibility of owning a house. And there's going to be maintenance and so forth, just like maintaining your channel. You know, sometimes you got to block people. Sometimes you can make decisions how many shows you want to do, what you want to talk about, whether you want to go on the defense or just totally avoid it altogether. There's things you have to do, that you need to do, that you don't have to do, that you just want to do, whatever. I think you get my point. Okay, let's see. Octoon Philippines says, I like Gilda. You're a lucky man. True love. Thank you very much. I like her too. Frank the Tank says, Frank. Okay. Octoon Philippines says, perhaps I'm stretching it, Frank, but how's your take on Ukraine and Russia? Will this conflict continue for many years to come? What are your take? Excuse me. That was a real cough. My throat is dry. I don't have much of a take on politics or anything like that. As a species, we are war animals, and there's always going to be reason to, you know, find fault with another country, and there's always reasons why you're going to support one country over the other. It has to do with the fact of whether they're your allies or not, or if they have a gross national product, GNP, anyway, that you need anyway, that their product is something that you need in trade to help your economy or to get the supplies you need. It could be oil, land, territorial issues. There's so many things going on. So do I think it'll ever stop? Well, I think war and hate will never stop until the world stops, until there's a catastrophe, and then humans are gone, then there's no problem to let the animals take over the world, which is rightful. We are animals, by the way. We think they're more intellectual than any other animal on the planet, but it's so untrue. A dolphin is probably a hell of a lot more intelligent than a man. The size of their brain, whales, those species. Even monkeys are evolving. They're becoming more intelligent and more intelligent as evolution takes place. It's a changing world constantly with evolution. Creatures that used to live underwater are gaining legs now. There's such rivers in the Amazon that may have a drought season. They're developing lungs and they're now going on land. It's called evolution. But evolution with people in different other ways, with hatred and all that other shit, I don't believe that's ever really going to stop. I think people are just going to be people. I think some people can't help to be what they are. It's unfortunate. This is a long answer, and you're getting a long answer. I think we as a species, we're not a perfect species. I'm going to have a hard-boiled egg here. I think as a species, we are very imperfect, and I just don't think anything is going to change with people, because we are, as animals, we're very territorial animals, and we are warlike animals. We have been since the beginning of time, since man has ever walked the planet. He had to hunt and forage, and he would kill possibly other villagers to get that nice juicy piece of meat from that dead animal that he just crushed his skull with, and with his caveman bat, whatever. But we haven't changed really. as a species, we really haven't changed it. We got that primal instinct with us still there. Oh, that's his new thing now, right? Isn't that predictable? It's so predictable. That's his new thing now. Just do a show while Frank has a live stream on. I guess we've all done that. But I'm not going to give in. That's why I came on. I have nothing more to say about Papa I haven't said before. I have nothing more to say about Nico or anybody else that I haven't said before. But the reason he's live is because he wants to taunt me, to go into some tantrum to talk about him. That's all it is. I can't figure that one out, right? Don't worry about the shows that they put on. Let's see, Damon. Primal Instinct, yeah. No, I'm actually having my cup of tea, but I'm having a hard-boiled egg. I already had some Cheerios. It's all the cereal I had. I ran out of I ran out of my rolled oat type of oatmeal. God forbid. Oh, jeez. God forbid I just ran out. I'm going to have 2 eggs for the protein because I got to work out. So 2 eggs, a bowl of regular Cheerios, and some green tea. Not too bad. I can make worse choices than that, like tons of bacon and butter and, hash browns, oily hash browns, and so forth. I think I'll make it a little bit better choice than a lot of people do. We need eggs. Actually, it's the most complete food you could actually eat. They're not as bad as if you think they are as far as cholesterol, actually. A body needs cholesterol. But if you just get too high on that, then it might become a problem. But, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, you need more protein as you get older, too. It's one of the most complete foods on the planet, actually. Seriously speaking. I used to like a little bit of salt and pepper on it. I'm just eating it right. I don't have anything on it, really. Well, I think I explained to you guys that when somebody gets really butthurt on here, you could always rely on them doing a show about you a matter of minutes after you put a show on. It's like this childish behavior where, wait a minute, I can't have them have one up on me. I got to respond back to make it right. All they're doing is showing what they're made of. That's all it is. Look, I think we all figured it out by now. I mean, how could you not? So I made my speeches about their inadequacies. I made my speeches about the life that they're really living and their envy and jealousy of other people's life. But it doesn't have to be me. There's other people too that they'll attack. It's not always me. But I'm always a good choice with a couple of people on here. So don't give them what they want. That's all. Don't give them what they want. Why do that? You're just feeding into this shit. That's all you're doing. I'm not going to feed into it anymore. There's not going to be any more comments about Nickelodeon or the lonely Popeye invalid. That ends with this show. I mean, what more can I say? I haven't said before. I think you guys got the hint. And I think you guys can make your own, construct your own thought processes on your own about people on here. It doesn't take much to figure out. Just listen to their show, that's all. Just ask yourself something, Mr. Octong and whoever else is on here. Are you happy with your life? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Okay, is what somebody says about you going to change your life in any way or form? That's the way you got to think. Octung says they're all jealous of you, Frank. You made it. You live in a dream on a tropical island. That I am. That I absolutely am. There's no question about that. No question at all. It does get boring, though, in the Philippines. It really does. Because, like I said, it's not all fun and games in the Philippines. It can actually be a dangerous place. And I says it has its downfalls, but all in all, it works for me. And I guess that's all that really matters. I'm clapping my hands, Frank, living the dream of Mandawi. Oh, you're in Mandawi. Yeah, my girlfriend has relatives in Mandawi. Too much traffic though in Mandawi, that's a problem. You don't want to go through Mandawi in a car. Very congested in Mandawi. I'm going to make this show as boring as I can. So I'll probably play my live show on here. And like, for what? What's Frank talking about anyway? Nothing worth writing down on paper, you know what I mean? I'm sure he's going to be disappointed that I'm not going to make them my key topics on my show. Oh, they could continue doing what they're doing. They're going to do it anyways. You got to understand. Like I said, they're not going to stop what they're doing because you want them to stop talking about you. They're not going to stop talking about you. That's just the way it is. Look, let them have fun. That's all they have to do. And I've been through this so many times. That's why I'm kind of doing this show today. And I'm actually doing a live stream to basically just finally address this once and for all. It's not like I haven't addressed it before. Have a little session about this today. I'm doing. And I really, really like being topical. Topical doesn't mean topics being about shows on here, whether you like Philippine Antics, whether you like Philippines Information Channel, whether you even like the characters of Popeye and Nico, whatever you listen to. I mean, that's your gig. I can't stop you from listening to anybody on here. Can't do that. I don't have the power to do that. But I do have the power to control what I want to put on my own channel. That I do. And that is something that they cannot control. They think they're control freaks, but they're not doing very well. Okay, where were we here? Got a great laugh. As long as I don't laugh that way. I'm still saying, what is with that? What is with that? I don't know, but that's just an example of what we have here on YouTube. Who wrote to me here? Oh, uh, that they own. And no, it's okay. Hold on. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, you have a great voice, blah blah blah. Yeah. Well, in general, without having to name names for PR purposes, generally speaking, I think one of the reasons I did a big thing in that at one of my shows, and what's the reason that people attack other people? And we just, I kind of went into this monologue, and I think I was pretty accurate in doing so. It really has to do with inadequacies in people's lives, and they're not satisfied with their living situations, their social situations, and so forth. I mean, usually you could figure that out on your own. If they do a lot of shows, it's not hard to see. It's really not. It's very apparent, really. Do they really have friends they're hanging around with and all that? Me, I'm a little different in a way because I don't really choose to hang around with foreigners. And believe me, we got enough people coming in and out of our house here. If any of her relatives come, her kids, and she does have other friends that have become my friends. And I got a couple of neighbors that are very good, especially my closest neighbor here. And I'm all good with it. So I kind of got what I want, and I'm kind of happy with the situation. No, I'm not really big on I'm really cavorting with foreigners for the most part, other than my neighbors. And it's usually better that way. I mean, I left the country not to be around the same kind of people that I was around, to get away from the toxins and want to be around more toxic people. And I'm sorry, if you're taking this personally, but I think most Westerners are fucking toxic. That's just the way it is. Some of the Hawaiian attitudes when I lived, because there were people that would bring their mainland attitude into the islands, and they were right about that. I don't agree with a lot of the things with the sovereignty and all the shit that the Hawaiians are trying to do, because it's never going to happen. But there's always an attitude problem, and that causes problems for these so-called haoles that were called, that come into the Hawaiian Islands and so forth. It's the same all over, really. Nobody's going to, you can't expect everybody to agree with your opinions or your philosophy. But that's actually the beauty of life, though, actually, because, you see, that's a good thing. People should have their own thoughts, and people should practice their own beliefs, whether you're religious or not, that's your thing. But they'll even attack you for things like that. I mean, then there's people who are the biggest hypocrites in the world, and I'd always love to talk about that. We got some characters on here that says, oh, Frank doesn't believe in God. All right, so what? I don't. I'm supposed to, because it says in God we trust on the dollar bill in the back. Who's we? Not everybody believes in organized religion, and I'm one of them that don't. So in other words, if I don't believe in a God, any kind of a God, Buddha and whatever, that means I'm a bad person? No. It just means that people have religious beliefs, and there's billions of people on the earth that do have religious beliefs. I think it really goes back to something which is totally another discussion, on where these beliefs came from and how they started, and that's just a long story. What were considered gods and why they were considered gods. Maybe the technology at the time was well beyond the intellect level of early man, and anything that might have come to Earth that had higher technology and demonstrated it. Indeed, they were gods. They look at Captain Cook. Captain Cook came to the Hawaiian Islands. They thought they were gods until they bled. They realized that these people bleed just like we do. They're not gods. They thought they were gods. They came in these big, beautiful ships. They had things called nails. They never knew what a nail was. They could put together a boat, as they did, to get to the shore from the main ship. They had these small boats. They were put together with nails and so forth. And Hawaiians have never seen that before. They tried to steal these nails, and some of them got killed as a result of it. It caused a lot of skirmish. But Captain Cook's people weren't doing bad things too. They were taking advantage of the native girls and all that, and they spread disease when the islands never had disease. I could understand the Hawaiian plight to a certain point, okay, but this has to do with everybody. Everybody has their own opinion, and that's okay. We should have our own opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. But I guess the question is, what do they base their opinion on? No, I never did. Why? What do they base their opinion on? Is it facts or any factoids? Is there a truth to what they talk about? Can they prove it? Not just like hearsay, or this guy's a felon. How could you be a felon if you never committed a felony? I don't know where they get that. That I'm a draft dodger, that's another one I hear all the time. I never got drafted for Vietnam. I was in school, and I had a hearing loss. I would have never been inducted into any military service. It was not going to happen. I've been called a draft dodger. That's one of the funnier ones. How could you be a draft dodger if you didn't get drafted and run away? That never happened. It just never happened. I got my number in the mail, like they usually do, and you go for a health test, you go to a doctor, and blah, blah, blah. They deem it that you have a loss of hearing and any other thing that might be going on with you. Okay, the letter goes back to the military. This is not military material. You got to have good hearing. You got to have this, that, that. That's how it works. I never got, inducted into the military forces. because it would have never happened. Didn't dodge anything. I dodged a bullet, perhaps, if you know what I mean by that expression, but no, I never got drafted by the armed services. It never happened. Now we got through that one. Okay, what else is going on? Not really too much. Nice and quiet around here. Kind of like it. Oh, the two kids that stay here, I perfectly feel comfortable with that around. And it's really great because some of our kids, the others that come over, they're very shy. Filipinos are very shy. We had a little round table discussion once here before. And, through the years, I actually learned a lot about Filipinos. Like in America, we might be huggy, huggy, kissy, kissy type of thing. The kid's going to go to school, okay, Johnny, give a kiss goodbye, have a good day. Or the daughter might kiss her mother goodbye. Okay, mom, I got to go. Hugs and kisses. They don't do that here. We talked about that. Because there was times I questioned, I said, sometimes I think you just, I don't know. I don't know what you think about me. And as it turns out, they think very highly of me. They just don't show it in that way. They're shy in that way. They're not huggy, kissy people. Even my own girlfriend, when the kids have to leave to go away, she don't give them a hug and a kiss. Or tell them, okay, I love you, I love you. They don't do that here as a norm. That's one of the differences between Western culture and here. I'm not saying that every one of them is like that. You might see rare cases out here where they are kind of huggy, kissy in that way. But they're generally not. They're generally not. Poopeye blocked me a long time. Let's not talk about him and give him the PR. What's that? It says he likes to ride his electric bike and cuddle Hector. Frank found real love and lives like a king. True, but let's not talk about him. I know that's hard for you. I know you love the drama, but when you talk about these people, you're just giving them free PR. Why do that? Look, they're never going to change. You're always going to do. You do a show about anything. It doesn't even have to be about them, but a lot of times they're still going to attack you. But why give them the extra rope to hang themselves? I mean, they're going to hang themselves anyway. That's just the way it works on here. Not everything is perfect in their lives. Not everything is perfect in all of our lives, but you go with the best of your life. You go with what you have, and you go what you actually achieved. You go with the love of the family, and just kind of ride with it, man. Just go for it. Love is on your side if you got it, man. When you don't have love in your life from anybody, I mean, and a life companion, that could really affect your whole psyche and your whole behavior, as demonstrated with these particular people that you love to talk about on here. Look, I already figured that out, okay? It didn't take much to figure that out at all. It didn't take brain science, okay? It doesn't take brain science to figure these people out. It really doesn't. Like I said, they're lonely people doing what lonely people do. And they lash out at other people that are living a better life than they're living in one form or another. Maybe not everything, but I think a lot of aspects of people's lives that people live, have some good shit in their lives going on. And there's always a certain amount of people that are really not living even close to how you're living. And that just bothers the living their life to make it better. There's a solution to everything. There really is. You can always find solutions to your problems. Unless you've got a terminal cancer or something in stage 4, well, you may not be able to do anything about that. But getting out of any health issues, if you don't have any, I think on a social level, I think in our society, people are just really and of course, they're going to lash out on other people because the truth is they're not living that life of the other person. They're not going to admit it. But they'll demonstrate by what they put on their shows and all the hate and everything else that goes on here. I mean, this is like hop, skip, and jump for me. This is nothing. If you've been on YouTube as long as I have, you'll realize that there are some things that are just not going to change. Okay, let's see. I agree. Don't mention Yeah, Greek yogurt's better than regular. It's all sugar in there anyway. My girlfriend bought this crappy yogurt. She liked to have something in the morning. Like I said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink it. I think she does practice some good things that I've taught her. She even yawns the same way I do. I mean, I've rubbed off on her, that's for sure, but in a good way. She's a little more conscious of what she eats and so forth. So, she's not perfect. She doesn't do, and I don't do perfect either. Believe me, I don't. If there's some homemade cookies around here, you know damn well I'm going to take my almond milk. I'm going to have a cookie or two. And it's okay that you do that now and then. Just don't overdo it. I will never be obese in my life unless I became an invalid. And without activity, you will become obese. I don't have that problem, and I don't have any heart problems that I'm aware of. And let's just say I've been pretty lucky. But luck, they say, what's love got to do with it? Well, what's luck got to do with it? Sometimes it is luck, but sometimes it's what you do for yourself, bad or good, is going to have an effect on you. Of course it is. No cholesterol, nothing. It's not even animal fat. It's not regular milk. Damn right. You just got to buy the Blue Diamond brand. It's the unsweetened vanilla. It's really good. You'll get used to it. I can't drink because it tastes too funny to me. I eat cheese when I have it. That's milk. That's the only form of dairy products I eat is going to be some cheddar cheese here and there, some mozzarella now and then, whatever. I don't overdo that either. I just don't overdo that. I'm going to make the show as boring as I can because if he's putting me live or something, he's just going to bore his viewers. I'm sure he'll add some anecdotes in there or something, to everything I say. But when your life is that pathetic, what are you going to do with your time, really? You got to pass your time. If you're an invalid, you're housebound most of the time, don't have any friends, what are you going to do, right? What can you do, really? Let's put it that way. What can you do? It's the biggest toxin you could ever put in your body, among any toxin at all. Smoking, drinking, whatever. It's the worst toxin you could put in your body. Your body can't handle that much sugar, and it makes everything else in your body go haywire, and you get diabetes. And once you get diabetes, I hate to tell you, even just type 2, which you don't think is a bad diabetes. Everybody refers to type 1 as being the worst, but diabetes will interfere with all the metabolics in your whole body. Eventually it does. People lose legs, limbs. It just affects everything else in your body, even could affect your heart. So having diabetes, which so far I don't have, thank goodness for small that I'm aware of anyway, from tests and whatnot. Let's just say I've been lucky, or maybe it's not luck. Maybe it has to do with certain things that I do that, possibly are kind of helping me along in a positive way. Do things that are more positive in your life. And yes, and just this question hasn't been asked to me, but let me put it out there anyway. Do I feel that a lot of my time felt on YouTube has been just a ridiculous waste of oxygen? It's a yes and no answer to that. I would say no because I think I've helped a few people out in some form or way on here. And yes, I do have topic matter on my shows. And they'll say, what's the topic matter Frank has? I got plenty. It's kept people interested in my show, whether you're just one of the good guys or whether you're a troll. They still come and listen, like he's probably broadcasting me right now, because I'm significant in his life. Isn't that nice to be significant in somebody's life? That they got to broadcast your shows? Not that I've never done that before, but I have. But there's a whole rhyme and purpose why they do that. They want to catch you in something you say. They can try to turn it around on you. I know it's sad. It's really sad. But these are sad people we're talking about. By their own demonstration. It's not word of mouth. It's not hearsay. Listen to their shows. You could come to a conclusion whether this person leads a very lonely life. They don't have friends. Some of them are mama's boys. I mean, just listen to the shows. I don't discourage anybody from listening to the troll channels. And the reason I don't, well, I'm discouraging doing any PR for them anymore, but I don't discourage anybody from going there because that's the only way you're going to learn about somebody, and you can make your own conclusions about the character of that person by the hate that they spew constantly. It's not like they come on a channel and they talk about great things. They find some kind of a topic matter or something, and it might be even interesting to listen to. I've had some people I absolutely don't like on here through the years that when they came up with a show where they actually talked about something we could all relate to that had nothing to do with troll hatred, I'd even listen to it, if it was interesting enough. It's what you put out as content that defines who you are. I mean, if a person comes on their show and their only topic is about one person in particular, or they have a certain group of people that they constantly talk about, they're obsessed. They're obsessed. I may talk about trolls on my channel, but I always have topic matter otherwise. That's the difference. Let's see. You have an active social life, Frank, a large loving family. I don't have a big active social life, not really. I kind of avoid. Um, I'm kind of an independent person. I think I've always been, but uh, my independence stops. For example, if my relationship is no longer going, it would be hard to be independent again. It would be hard because she does things for me and helps me out. I help her out, and we're a team. And you know, I'm getting older, obviously, and it's a certain prime period of your life where you need a companion. Oh, you absolutely do. But some people, unfortunately, use Filipinas like a nursemaid or something. And there's many cases I heard where these old guys come here and they got pre-existing problems. And rather than trying to pay the money out to a private nursing facility, they figure, let's go to the Philippines. They're going to take care of you. It's just, you know, uh, just dish out some money and just stick around. But that's not the way it works with me. Because, in fact, she has some of her own money. So, I mean, it's not one of those situations here. We both got our own, which is a good thing. Let's see. Why don't you and Gilda do the whole... Are you out of your mind? Look, I'm not really that interested in growing my channel like that. I'm not going to put her on camera. She very rarely ever appears on camera. And when she does, they make a mockery out of her. I'm not going to put her through that like some of these people do. You know, old dog, new tricks, always has this woman on there to attract subscribers. I really don't care. It's nice that my subscribership is going up, but other than that, it just means more people to listen to me. But mostly after my show, you'll see the numbers get pretty big. Not during my show, but after my show, when people have different time zones and whatnot, and they don't catch my show till later on. My numbers are pretty good on that. It's not bad. No, but doing a show together, you out of your mind? No. She hates YouTube with a passion. She hates YouTube. And all the shit they talk about her, if she had it her way, well, I'm going to end that statement. If she had it her way, these people would be in a world of hurt if they were local, believe me. And I'm not exaggerating on that. You just have to trust me on that one. It's one of those statements I'm making that that you just don't want to talk about and just end the subject on that, okay? If there's certain people that were more local to me and they did some of the things they did and I knew where they lived and everything else, there might be a different story. Who knows what I'll do? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you that honestly. Or maybe I won't do anything at all. But that's something for me to decide. They get brave from a distance, that's for damn sure. But the fact is, if they live more local, for example, the guy you're talking about in here, I don't have to mention his name, because you've talked about many times since I started this show today. He figures he lives a long way off and nobody's going to come over there and kick his ass. It doesn't mean that it won't happen from somebody. Nothing's written in stone, you know. You could piss off people only so much and they're going to take action, whether it's legal or personal, physical, whatever. They'll take action if they want. You know, I've been through this with a couple of people and they're paying a price right now with trials. And I always thought that's a better way to go. Puts you in a better light. Because if you like living where you are, you don't want to cause ripples. You want to live your life, and if you got some problem with somebody in here that got so bad, you just make a legal matter out of it. If you got the evidence, produce it. That's all. You go on from there, let the courts take over, and let them take care of the business, because your business is really done. You've made the report, you got the trial going, and it's up to the court system as to what they do. There's no violence involved, nothing physical, nothing like that. No need. Like I say, everybody go back to your homes. Nothing to see, nothing to see. Gilda has a good voice. Why not? I like her. She's an attractive lady also. Great eye candy. Well, she is to me. Why does she not like YouTube? Because her boyfriend has been attacked for how many years? And she's been attacked. This must be Aloe. I think you're Aloe. Is this Aloe? Because she's been attacked. No need. She don't have her own show. But like I said, part of the programming in the minds of the trolls is that, hey, let's go beyond. We tried everything to attack him and it didn't work. He's still on. So why not attack the family? Because maybe that's his Achilles heel, right? That's what they do. Is that guy Larry or Barry? Not sure, sorry. Still in detention? Yes, he is. Well, he's behind his own bars there, but he's not in a regular prison. That'll come down the line. But we're not going to talk about that. He's comfortable now, but yeah, there's a few things going on that might change that situation for him, but I'm not privy to talk about that. Okay. So let's not give the PR to these people. And I know you like talking about drama, audience. I know that you love it. You live for it. But I have the ability, and I've proven I can talk about all kinds of different topics on here with people having interest in what I talk about other than the troll situation. You're not going to get away from trolls. That's just the way it is. It's not going to happen. I talked about this momentum thing on my last show, and it's just a momentum thing that builds up, and it gets so used to being trolls and spilling the hate and sewage out there that it's like nonstop. It's like on a hill. You're rolling down the hill, you can't stop, you know. There's inertia, there's all kinds of shit going on physically, you know, in physics, you know, you can't stop your body rolling down a hill unless you grab a branch or a rock or something, or till you hit a rock and it stops your fall. But that's kind of the way it is on YouTube. They go on a roll. You got, yeah, don't even bother. He's actually a non-topic for me. I mean, everything's being handled, okay, as best as it could. There'll be a good outcome from all this. I'm pretty damn sure of it, you know. There'll be a good outcome. You know, you cause the problem, you got to find your own solutions and get your lawyer and get your lawyer do whatever your lawyer does for you or can do from you, and that's all you can do. Okay, you know, if things turn out well for him, then then it will. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, I can't say either way. I don't think it's going to turn out well for him. It hasn't turned out well so far. And we haven't even got to the actual witnesses and myself and others that'll be on the stand and actually able to talk about the evidence and painting a good picture of his character. That hasn't really totally come yet. Not really. My girlfriend, who's a Filipina, is a witness too. She's going to be on the witness stand probably on the next hearing, from what I'm gathering. So, and not to mention, which I won't, any other witnesses that might be surprise witnesses in good positions that might be there too. So, does he have something to worry about? I would say yeah. Can I make any guarantees on where this is all going? No, I cannot. See, I'm honest about it. Yeah, he was in the news, that's for sure. So he's not having a gay old time. Well, who knows? He gets his conjugal visits. Life's good. Gets his food from his girlfriend. Life's good. No rent, no electricity. Life's good. Probably one of the better living situations he's had since he's ever lived out here. Believe it or not. DT24, I know my Filipino family doesn't show very much affection. Great people, it's just not something they do. No, they don't in that way. Although my Filipino, she's going to go out to leave somewhere, she'll come over, give me a kiss, see you later, you know. She does that with me, but with this culture, that's why it is, you know, anyway, celebrate the differences in good ways, really, but I've always found it to be unusual out here. And sometimes you wonder, do they really like me? You know? And they do. They just like, they're not going to work, oh, Uncle Frank, you know, I like you so much, you're such a great person, hug and kiss. No, they don't do that out here. If anybody's spent any time in the Philippines, they'll know what I say is true. They are not just openly affectionate. They're not, you know, the huggy-feely type of people that you grew up in the Western society. It's not like that. Even, you know, send the kids off to school. She don't give them a kiss goodbye and say have a good day. And she really doesn't do that. And the rest of her family, they don't do that either. I don't see no huggy-kissy for any one of them. Even amongst each other, the girls, the sisters, the brothers. They don't even say I love you all the time. They don't even, if they don't, that's just, it doesn't mean they don't. They just don't display that. DT20, Octung says to DT24, they like Frank, no doubt. He's a good man. Takes good care of Gilda. Well, I do, and she takes good care of me too. That's the beauty of all this. So would you say I'm living a decent life out here? If I had to ask myself that question, nevertheless coming from somebody else, I would say, yeah, I am. Do I get bored? Oh, every single day. That's why I keep busy. I mean, this isn't like Disneyland out here, you know. I suppose if you really try hard, you could find something else to do. It's kind of hard when you're living on a small island, though. And that's why these little periodical trips we make to the big city, we take care of business, you know, we shop, we have nice lunches or dinners, and spend some time with the family, spend some time on our own. We'll shop for things that we need, or maybe something that we don't really need, that we just want. And that's what we do. I mean, I haven't been to a movie theater in how many years, and I'm always talking about it. Go to one of the cinemas out there, the nice cinemas. I have not been into a movie. I can't even remember the last time I've been to, because things have changed, you know. It's like you have your own little theater in your own living room these days, you know. You can watch Netflix, all kinds of stuff, and sure, it's not the same effect of having this huge screen with a big sound system like in the cinemas, you know, 3D or whatever they have now, you know. I have not been in a movie theater. I can't even remember the last time I've been in a movie theater. Yeah, I keep busy even while well, not right now. I'm just sitting down right now, but of course I've seen Titanic, yeah.
No, I do keep busy. Because truthfully, if I didn't, I really would go out of my mind. And yes, so doing YouTube shows is a distraction from a lot of the chores I do around here. It's a distraction. I've not hit the machine yet this morning, so I'm distracting myself a little bit. I will, of course, but probably after the show. Sometimes I review my own show, just to have something to listen to, because I can't find much of anything good to listen to out there unless it's some kind of an educational video on YouTube or something. I could listen to that, and that's what I mostly do, contrary to popular belief. I'm not going through all the familiar channels all the time. Let's see what he has to say today. I think about 90% of my time that I go on YouTube at all is to look up information, whether it's medical, whether it's geographical or cultural or science or whatever, or watch some of the news feeds coming from the Philippines, all the crazy stuff that happens out here. What just recently happened? There's like 4 people that got electrocuted somewhere, and they had this feed on there. Filipinos with cameras. Oh my God, they're there, and they want to photograph the worst of shit too. They all like sharing their videos on Facebook mostly. And so I don't know what happened. 4 people are dead. They got electrocuted somehow. Maybe I think they were workers. I don't know the whole story on that because it was not in English. But you hear stories like this all the time. A lot of the stories are people on motorcycles getting run over by buses and trucks and crashes and stuff. And boy, that's very prevalent out here. I don't like to hear all the bad stuff, but they sure publicize a lot of it out here. I just really feel that there's an insensitivity to blood and gore out here. I think they see it so often that it's not like Western culture people who are very reactive to stuff like that. Like, oh my God, I didn't want to look at this. This is a bloody mess. They get scarred from it. A lot of Filipinos, they see this shit all the time. So they're kind of desensitized to blood and gore. I really believe that. I honestly believe that. They're there with their cameras. They want to see it. They want to look at it again and again. Share it with friends and relatives. Hey, look what I got on this video. Nobody really wants to look at that kind of stuff all the time. It takes a certain kind of person. Sometimes out of just plain human curiosity. Like you're on a roadway and a bad accident happens. It's always a great example. A gory accident happens on the road. You don't really want to see the blood and gore. But you wind up looking anyway, because we are curious creatures. And then maybe we'll regret it'll affect us viscerally some other way. That's happened to me, to a point. One time anyway, it was, yeah. So how is everybody doing out there? I hate talking about myself all the time. I like to be in tune with my viewers, and they're not all trolls. And if they are trolls, they're welcome here too. I get a lot of trolls on my channel. They're more than happy, they're more than welcome to come on my show. And a lot of them do. They'll complain that Frank doesn't have topic matter, but that's so far from the truth. But they'll say that anyway. Yeah. But they're here listening to me, even broadcasting me perhaps, so. Okay, so look, if I'm going to be doing any shit on here anymore, I still prefer the uploads, and this is a rare one, because lately I've been just doing uploads. Consider yourself lucky here. But my heart is not really into it. I really like expressing myself, and as much as I can, I would have something to talk about and share, but I could still do that on an upload. Like I said, I'm not always interrupted by comments and maybe trolls that might come in and try to throw a wrench in the machinery or something, or try to remind me that somebody else is doing a show about me or something. I don't care. They're going to do whatever they want, whether I like it or not. That's just the way it is. You got to face that reality. Just do your stuff. Do your thing. If you do your thing, people are going to appreciate you a lot more. They get tired of this crap after a while. I've had numerous people write me, even privately, and say that I'm so tired of the bullshit on YouTube, like a bunch of gossiping women, a sewing circle. Well, that's true. It is. But sometimes they don't have anything better to do with their life, so they got to lash out. They need an outlet. I think everybody needs an outlet. And coming onto YouTube, if that's your outlet, you got for positive purposes or for negative purposes. It's going to be one or the other. If it's for positive, then you got great topic matter. You're teaching people something they didn't know, or giving people some different insight into things that maybe they never thought about before. That's a good channel. I think I've actually reached that plateau of doing that. I don't have any doubt about it. Or you could be very negative and do the back and forth thing. I've said what I had to say about certain people on here, especially this past week. I had both barrels loaded, you know, locked in, loaded, as Brevis said, right? Locked in, loaded. And I did, and I was locked in, loaded, and I fired off too. I fired off. Got it out of my system. So I said what I needed to say, and I'm not going to back off on what I had to say. I'm not going to do that. They know who they are. They know what they're all about. They know what they do. And you're not going to stop that. I'm not going to stop that. Let the children be children. Let them play and have fun until something happens in their life, and then they'll realize, look at all the time I've been wasting. Now I got some terminal medical situation or something which is going to be deemed to be a hell of a lot more important than talking about old Frankie here. Believe me, when that time comes, they'll realize what a waste of oxygen, because maybe they don't have any more oxygen now. Maybe they need an oxygen tank. Who knows? Whatever their dilemma is physically, they'll notice that that's going to take precedence over the bullshit on YouTube. And until that happens to them, they'll continue doing shows about me or anybody else. Again, that's not going to stop until reality sets in, that something happened so terrible in their life that they realize that, I can't believe I've been doing this for years and just attacking people. That becomes so insignificant when something in your life really bad goes on. You lost a family member, or lost your lover, your partner, your best friend. I've had losses myself this year. Well, one, and I have a friend who's been my friend since childhood that is slowly deteriorating from cancer. Yeah. Even a dog was put down, my brother's dog, unnecessarily, but he was getting old anyway. That was almost like my dog. So I had a loss. Let's call it a family dog. That was my brother's, but I was very close to. My brother died. My friend has cancer. Okay. Nothing really other than that terribly disastrous going on, but nevertheless not good. That's just part of the pattern of life. You know, you win, you lose in many ways in life, and, you know, there's some things you could prevent and there's some things you can't prevent. But life goes on, and some people are dwelling on the past so much that they're missing so much in their current life, where they're spending so much time on YouTube spreading hate and lies about other people to try to get people aboard their ship of fools and give them that strength that they're trying to build up like a little army. And that, I think, is sad right there. That's proof of the pudding right there that they're living a really sad life. Yeah. Okay, with that being said, I think I've made my point. I'm not going to give any more PR to anybody. My back and forth shit ends with this show. And I'm just going to be very topical on my next show, whenever that is. You'll know, because you'll know I'm on. Yes, it's going to be an upload. I decided to do a live show this morning. I just didn't feel like waiting for the upload and whatever. No big deal. But tune in. I know I get a lot more people listening when I'm live. I understand that, but that's not a big concern of mine. I see the numbers are a lot lower on how many viewers I have when I do an upload compared to a live show, but that's pretty typical on here. So don't support the trolls. Don't give in to that shit. There's nothing stopping you from going to their show and viewing their show and listening what they have to say, but make your own assessments from their own show. And you can make a lot of assessments on their topic matter and about their character. All it takes is one show. It doesn't take 100 shows. You'll know what they're all about in one show. Will tell you all you need to know, and you make your own assessments. Whether you want to continue listening to the nonsense and giving them all the PR that they're trying to get, that's totally up to you. But in my situation here is I've said over and over and over again how I felt about these people. I think I made myself abundantly clear as to ramifications as to what they say about me. I'm not going to discuss that. I'd rather be silent in regards to that. Don't give your enemy tools. Don't give them any tools to use against you. You can talk about different things, aspects of your life on YouTube, but limit what you talk about. I don't have any problem with talking about family. I don't have a problem at all within limits. That's the key words, within limits. My family out here is part of my life. I'm not going to hide them from my life because they're an integral part of my life. There's an event, I happen to go out dinner or something, I might turn the camera on and say, here's what we do. It's what we like to eat. We go out as a family. Nothing wrong with that. But getting a little bit too personal, that's where the problem comes in. And that's where I think a lot of people, including myself, historically have had a problem. A little bit too personal. You get a family members on a name basis, and they do all kinds of dastardly shit to get your goat. But like I said, payback can be a bitch. It certainly can. So we're not going to talk about these issues anymore because how I deal with something will be my own way of dealing with it. The person will just have to find out on their own. That's probably the best thing I could say. Now, of course, I don't talk about them. Does that mean I have no plans for anything in regards to things they've done? I may not do anything at all. Nothing. Or maybe I'll do something, but I'm not going to advertise it. All comes out in the wash. Eventually, what they've been doing catches up with them one way or the other. By nature, or by somebody else, or whatever. Just ignore the morons. It's the best thing you could do. So if you're going to do shows on here, if you're a YouTuber, just don't talk about them. Don't give them that PR. That's the best thing I can tell my audience. You like my show, watch it. You don't like my show, don't watch it. With that being said, let the children play. They have nothing else better to do with their lives. And they prove it every time they do a show? Of course they do. If you can't see through somebody's lifestyle from their show, then I guess you're either blind or dumb, or your brain is just not working properly to get this influx of information into your brain that you're not seeing what everybody else does for some reason. It's very apparent on most people's shows what it's all about. They don't talk about anything good. They don't talk about interesting topics. They talk about each other on here because that's all they have. It's a family to them. Even if you're an enemy of them, you're their family because they couldn't do a show without you, without talking about you. That tells you something right there. You don't have to dig that deep to figure out the psyche of some of these people on here. Okay, with that being said, I'm out. You have a good day, whatever you're doing.
All right, that's the end of the show. I hope you all enjoyed. I don't know, man. That was mind-boggling listening to all that, guys. Just mind-boggling. So, guys, gather up some money, send him a case of the smokes, and put a note inside of it and say, "Go kill yourself, Frank." uh, all right, guys, I'll see you on the flip side. And I want to say to all of you who are good fathers out there, I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day. I know I did. I had a great time at the casino. I had a great time at the Cheesecake Factory. And you guys, I do this for you. You like it. You can say what you want when you hear him spewing his bullshit, you know. And I know you like a live chat that's free, free for freedom of speech. I know that's what you like. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Maybe I'll do just a regular live stream this week. And we'll talk about a little bit about this and that and whatever else we can. This was Popeye 1. Popeye 1